Welcome to the Becoming Baby Ready podcast, your podcast for queer family planning. My name is Sam, and throughout this podcast, you'll hear me have conversations with professionals who work alongside people who want to start and grow their families, as well as parents of intentionally created families. Everyone I speak to identifies as being part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. This is your opportunity to learn answers to questions you didn't even know you had. You may know Morgan and LA as Two Moms in Motion all over social media, but this is my conversation with them about their journey to creating their family, and there's a bit of exciting news to follow the episode. Welcome, everyone. Today I want to introduce you to Morgan and Ale, and you may know them as Two Moms in Motion from Instagram. Welcome to both of you. Tell us about your family.
Well, first off, thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you.
And a little bit about our family. Well, we're a family of 5, but 2 are our rescue dogs. Yeah, we also have a daughter together, Alaya. And Alaya's she's just shy of 2. So we're entering into the terrific 2s.
I think we're it, but yeah.
And keeps you on your toes, right?
That's right, always.
I love that. I love that. Of the various methods of growing a family that are available to the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, are you open to telling us about which method the two of you took?
Yes, we did insemination at home, ICI. We did it with a known donor, a friend of mine, a good friend, well, of us. Right now is a friend of us. And yeah, we did all the process ourselves. He came home, did his business, leave his product downstairs. I pick it up, I bring it upstairs, and we did this around 4 times, 4 months straight. And the fourth time it took.
Yeah. So although like the first 3 times we were tracking my ovulation through an app on our phone, and it wasn't successful. And then the 4th time we did cycle monitoring at a fertility clinic.
Okay.
And so we were able to nail down the specific time of when to do the insemination.
But that time, the last time we did it 3 days in a row.
Right.
So when they told them we did it that first day, and after they called her the second day, said, no, it's actually today. So we did it again. And the 3rd day we did it just,
because they say 3 times the charm.
That's right. And clearly it was.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
You used a known donor, and that's a big conversation that I think that a lot of cisgendered heterosexual couples don't necessarily think about, how much time and energy has to go into deciding how you choose whether you're a same-sex female couple needing to find a sperm donor or a same-sex male couple needing to find an egg donor. Was that a long conversation for the two of you, or did it just feel like this was right for you?
No, we look into this, I would say, like for a whole year.
Yeah.
We went to bank donors. We look up thousands of profiles in Canada and US. We asked our brothers, and finally we felt comfortable with we have a lot of options as friends. We were really lucky that way.
Right.
And after I don't know, something our gut say.
Yeah, it was just once we thought about this one individual, about asking him, it just felt so easy and natural.
Right.
So Alejandra was at a party one night with him, and she's just asked him. They were outside on the patio, and he was like, didn't even blink. He's like, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, I love that.
So I think the feeling was mutual with our donor as well. And we had previous conversation with someone that we were interested, and it was kind of like not a very smooth conversation or a smooth feel. We're like, no, we won't open that can of worms. So we're pretty blessed that we have this individual in our life, for sure.
But yeah, for sure, we went through every option we have. And this was, for us, what it felt the most not uncomfortable for us.
Another big conversation, as you know, is like when your child is old enough do you want your child to be able to know the donor? So this was a conversation we had. We both agreed that we wanted our future child, who's now Alaya, to have that opportunity. Some couples don't want that. Other couples, it's very important to, and obviously some either this way or that way. So having a known donor, that was part of our conversation with them as well, that, you know, how do you feel about this? Because that can be heavy for some donors, right? So donors want to very much be part of a child's life. Others want to be very far removed, and others are kind of going to go with the flow. And that's where ours sits. So it worked well with us. Yeah.
Excellent. Because it is a whole multi-layered conversation and thought process, as you say, not just for the two of you, but for the donor and for your child down the road too. So it isn't a decision anybody makes lightly. That's for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Given that achieving parenthood is, for our community, is not always easy and it's never free, are you comfortable sharing with us if you did have to incur any costs through the process? You said that you did do cycle tracking through a clinic. Were there other costs incurred?
So in Canada, cycle monitoring is covered by OHIP. So there was no cost incurred at the fertility clinic itself. But we did pay for our lawyer and his lawyer to have an agreement put together, and I believe that was about 4,000.
That was about 2,000 and 2,000. Yeah, we pay for his lawyer as well.
Yeah. So, and that was really important, and I highly recommend if anyone's going with a known donor that you have a legal agreement in place before anything gets started. That's very important. But that was basically all of our costs incurred for this pregnancy. We're hoping to get pregnant in the near future, and we're going to be doing reciprocal IVF. So there's definitely going to be a higher price tag to it. I was just looking on before I got on this call with you. We were looking on how much it's going to cost just for our sperm donor to go to the clinic to have the assessment, to take a sample, to run the sample and clean it, to store the sample. The admin costs, and it's going to probably come to about $4,000 alone just for that component.
Right.
We can still use the legal agreement that we have previous, because we opened it up to have future children with his donation. But of course, and then here in Canada, each individual is given, I guess you can be on the list for the IVF $10,000 grant one time. So we're hoping we're still in line, and because we've been dealing with the administration logistics of this for over a year. So we're hoping we're at the top of the list when our time comes. But of course that might be a cost coming down the pipeline as well.
Plus all the medicines and all the injections that we have to put at a cost too. And that's around another $4,000.
And I understand that some people's health insurance through their work may cover portions of that. We don't have that insurance, so we'll just be paying out of pocket.
Yeah, but that's something to budget for, right? And I was talking to a couple last week from France, and they can't even get a loan for it in France because it's still illegal. So, you know, grateful that we have that many more options here in Canada that we can get help if we need help, right? But
yeah, it does. I mean, even for some individuals, they have the $10,000 grant, they go through it, but they need to do it again. And so of course, so it's always important to budget for it for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on for just a moment. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Julia from New Hope Surrogacy and Egg Donation. My partner Jenna and I help people all around the world pursuing an alternative path to parenting through surrogacy, egg donation, embryo donation, and adoption. We support surrogates and egg donors all across Canada, helping parenting dreams come true. For more information, please visit www.newhopesurrogacy.ca and find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Are there any words of caution that you would share with members of the 2S LGBTQIA community as a result of any of the experiences you've had so far?
The original fertility clinic that we went to discuss like what our desires were in terms of getting pregnant,
our options and everything.
wasn't the most
friendly. or open.
They had not had much experience.
Fair. Yeah.
People in our community. I feel like, and this is just my opinion based on some experience and stories, some of these fertility clinics like to stick to their cookie cutter processes. Anything outside of that process means extra work and they're not really interested in it. Now, at the same time we had that appointment, Canada was changing the regulations on what was required when somebody had a known donor in terms of the logistics of things. And so understandably, they were kind of left in like, we're kind of going through this transition period. We're not really sure how to go about doing this. And they're forward about not having much experience, but it was we definitely felt like they didn't have an interest in helping us.
Totally. Yeah.
So there are certain clinics that have experience, and just learning from, you know, conversations with friends and through social media as well, which is a blessing. We've been able to identify some clinics that have experience, and we've gone to one and it was pretty easy, straightforward. I mean, their wait times are horrible.
Yeah. But
I don't wish the experience on anybody. It's not good, but seeing us as just other clients, like same clients, it felt pretty natural there.
yeah, better than the first clinic for sure.
Yeah. And that counts for a lot. You don't want to feel othered when you're going through this process, right? And that's really the reason that I'm doing this show, because I mean, what you speak of is exactly an example of being othered through the process. You've been there, you've done that. You know, other than in the fertility clinic, were there other times that you were made to feel that you were the other when you were going through the process of growing your family?
Okay, so we're kind of in a vulnerable situation because we put everything on social media, right, through our account. And so we definitely have had some pretty nasty comments or direct messages where, you know, people will just say things that are unkind, or they just want to get at you, or people ask questions that you're wondering, are they really coming from a place of they are curious, or are they kind of giving are they trying to be harmful?
Yep.
So, I mean, again, we live in Toronto, which is for the most part a pretty incredible place in terms of inclusivity. It's definitely not bulletproof, but from our experience and the family and friends who surround us, we have a great community. But when we went and put our lives online, we definitely experienced probably a small fraction of what many people around the world in other countries where it's illegal and not accepted culturally, have to deal with on a daily basis. So
it's true. Yeah.
Now, I asked you to be a part of this show, so clearly there's going to be a little bit of bias in your answer. But when you were going through the process the first time, and as you prepare for going through the process again, do you feel that there's a benefit to a show like this that really does, it isn't to isolate ourselves from the heterosexual community or to keep them out from coming in, because they're certainly welcome to attend this show and learn if that's what their true interests are. But do you feel that there's a benefit to a show that's specifically for our community about growing babies? And if so, then, or growing families, sorry. And if so, what kinds of things would you want to make sure that you learned about?
Well, absolutely. I think our process is totally different of a hetero. I mean, depends, no? But it is different, and I think it's great to have a channel that is just for us, where we can find all the answers and all the questions that we have without have to be jumping one way to another. I think for us, something that was a little bit challenging at the moment was finding resources in terms of the doctor itself talking about the process, or lawyers talking about the process, how to prepare everything and have everything legal.
And what should be included in a contract.
And what it covers, what it doesn't cover, if you have to do more in the future, like we're going that process right now. So I think that will be a great beneficial point of having guests that can talk about those points.
Right.
Professionals that deal with LGBT couples.
Right.
Yeah, I think this resource is amazing, and it would have been helpful. And we look forward to attending the show just for our, information for our next, future child hopefully.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're again blessed because we have a community, we have friends who've gone through it or no friends who've gone through it. And so we've been able to talk to them firsthand, but not everybody has those resources.
Yeah.
So I think this is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a passion project for sure. And I'm grateful that I get to do this. As we're wrapping up, let's end on a positive note. What is your absolute favorite part of parenting?
I don't know if I can pick one.
Fun. It is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun because she allows you to appreciate the really small things in life that you sometimes would overlook.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have her to stop you and be like, look at this. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
You're like, yes, that is hilarious. So I just find it a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think for me also is the appreciation I have for my parents now that I'm a parent. Like that changed my relationship with them. I understand them way more than I used to. And I'm opening a lot of doors with me and my family now. So I'm grateful that I have my child do that for me.
Absolutely. That's so true. That's so true. And it truly isn't until you have a child
It's true.
that you have that appreciation, I don't think, for what your parents did or didn't do for you, because unfortunately there are lots of families where it doesn't go that way. But I love the life lessons that our children teach us and humble us with, and let us share that for sure.
You know, that actually makes me think of one thing that we've talked about on our media channel is that the children who are brought into this world with so much intention are typically very loved. And so being part of this community, we may sometimes hear these hurtful comments or things people say or feel othered. But the one thing that we have to keep in our heart is like, man, isn't this child so freaking loved? Like, it doesn't get better than that.
No, it's so true.
When somebody says something like, didn't you rob this child of a father? I'm like, no, we've blessed her with so much love. 100%. And we wish that for every child on this planet.
Yes, absolutely. That is a beautiful way to end this conversation. And you are absolutely correct. If you haven't followed them yet on Instagram, make sure you do. That's Two Moms in Motion on Instagram. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Since recording this episode in the summer of 2022, Ale and Morgan have gone forward to conceive their second child. Congratulations to you both and your entire family from babyREADY and all of our listeners. Thank you for joining me today on the Becoming babyREADY podcast. If you have a story that you'd like to share, or you know someone who might, if you're a professional who works in the capacity of helping people start and grow their families, and you identify as being a part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community yourself, then please don't hesitate to reach out. We always have room for more stories to share, and there's always more learning to do.